You know, life has this crazy way of testing us at the very moments when we least expect it. People will doubt you, situations will break you, and sometimes even your own mind will try to convince you that you're not good enough. But here's the truth. I've lived it, I've felt it, and I've conquered it. Being unstoppable is not about being perfect. It's about showing up even when the odds are stacked against you. It's about silencing the noise of judgment and choosing to believe in your own voice louder than anything else. When the world told me what I could or could not be, I smiled, walked past it, and chose to define myself on my own terms. That's the essence of being unstoppable. You don't wait for the right time, you create it. Being unstoppable means you're not afraid to fail, because failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of the journey to success. Every rejection, every criticism, every sleepless night, it's all fuel for your fire. And you know what? The world respects people who refuse to back down. It respects resilience. It respects persistence. There were days when I stood alone, but I realized that even one person with unshakable belief in themselves is stronger than a crowd of doubters. So stop waiting for approval. Stop waiting for permission. The only stamp of approval you need is the one you give yourself. Remember, no one can dim your light unless you let them. And finally, being unstoppable is about owning who you are. It's about embracing your flaws as much as your strengths. It's about standing tall even when your knees are shaking. It's about dreaming without limits and working without excuses. You have the power to be limitless, but only if you stop holding yourself back. So, whenever you feel small, remind yourself, you are born to take up space, you are born to rise, you are born to be unstoppable. Don't just survive life, dominate it, shape it, and most importantly, own it. Because once you make yourself unstoppable, nothing and no one can stand in your way. There will always be people in this world who think they have the right to define who you are, what you should be, and how far you can go, and often these voices come from places of authority, society, family, peers, and sometimes even strangers who do not know your journey yet believe they can dictate it. But here's the truth, the only definition of you that matters is the one you give yourself the moment you allow someone else to write your story. You lose the magic of living authentically. Your power lies in claiming your narrative, in saying this is who I am and I will not shrink to fit into the boxes you create. The most unstoppable people in the world are not those who follow the rules of others, but those who set their own rules, those who refuse to be trapped in expectations, and instead shatter them with courage and conviction. Defining yourself is not arrogance, it is awareness. It is knowing your value and refusing to bargain it for acceptance. And yes, it is not easy to stand against the tide, because when you decide to define yourself on your own terms, you will face resistance, you will hear whispers telling you to play small, you will see doors close because you refuse to conform. But let me tell you, every closed door is a blessing because it shows you that you are not meant to enter it. You were meant to build your own instead, so do not waste time seeking validation from the wrong rooms or the wrong people. You are not here to fit into their story. You are here to create your own. Defining yourself requires courage, because courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward in spite of fear. It is telling yourself that even if you stand alone, your truth is worth standing for, and your voice is worth being heard. When you truly define yourself on your own terms, you start living a life that is aligned with who you are at the core. Your decisions stop being influenced by what people expect and start being guided by what your soul desires. You break free from the invisible chains of opinions, judgments, and comparisons. You begin to live with freedom, and freedom is where true power is born. People may label you too bold, too ambitious, too different, but those labels are reflections of their limits, not yours. The moment you stop trying to prove yourself to others is the moment you start proving yourself to yourself, and that is the real victory. Being unstoppable is about carrying your identity like a crown, not hiding it like a secret. It is about knowing that your journey is yours alone, and no one else gets to edit it or define it, because once you define yourself on your own terms, the world has no choice but to accept it. Failure is one of those words that makes people uncomfortable, because society has taught us to treat it as the opposite of success, as if failing means you are not worthy, as if failing is the end of the road. But in reality, failure is the greatest teacher you will ever meet. It is the mirror that shows you what you still need to learn, and the compass that guides you to where you need to go every time you fall. It is not the end, it is a chance to rise with more strength, more clarity, and more wisdom. The people who make themselves unstoppable are not the ones who avoid failure, but the ones who run toward it because they know each stumble adds to their arsenal of power. It builds resilience, it builds grit. It builds the kind of strength no easy success can ever give you. So instead of fearing fail, you embrace it, hug it, welcome it, because it is shaping you into a version of yourself that success alone cannot. Think about it. Every invention, every discovery, every dream that changed the world was born out of countless failures. Nobody wakes up and gets everything right the first time, but the difference between those who achieve greatness and those who give up lies in how they use failure. Some people treat failure as a wall and stop moving. Others treat it as fuel to keep going. The unstoppable ones choose the latter. They understand that failing does not mean you are not capable. It simply means you are learning, and every lesson you take from that failure sharpens you, molds you, and prepares you for the day you will succeed with such power that no one can deny it. So never let fail break your spirit. Instead, let it light a fire so powerful within you that nothing can extinguish it, because failure is not there to stop you. It is there to strengthen you. The truth is, failure humbles you, but it also empowers you. It strips away your illusions, but it leaves behind your raw determination. It takes away your excuses and replaces them with clarity. It teaches you to fight harder, to rise stronger, and to believe deeper in yourself. Every scar left by failure is proof that you tried, proof that you dared, proof that you refused to sit quietly and settle for mediocrity. And when you learn to see your failures not as signs of weakness, but as evidence of courage, you will find that nothing can intimidate you anymore, not rejection, not criticism, not even fear itself, because you know you have fallen before and risen again, and that cycle of rising again and again is exactly what makes you unstoppable. So let failure be your teacher, let it be your fuel, let it be your secret weapon, because once you master the art of using failure as fuel, there is nothing in this world that can hold you back. One of the most liberating truths you will ever discover is that you do not need the approval of others to validate your existence. Yet so many of us spend our entire lives chasing acceptance, chasing praise, chasing permission to be who we already are. We wait for people to clap before we believe in ourselves. We wait for someone to say you are worthy before we dare to act. But the reality is that the world will never fully approve of you, because people view you through the lens of their own insecurities, their own limitations, their own experiences. And if you build your life around their opinion, you will always be shrinking, adjusting, diluting yourself to fit into spaces that were never designed to hold your brilliance. The most unstoppable version of you is the one who wakes up every day and says, I approve of myself, I trust my instincts, I believe in my vision, no matter who doubts it. When you stop chasing approval, you stop being a prisoner to the changing winds of opinion, because one day people will praise you, and the next day they will criticize you. If you depend on their validation, you will rise and fall with their moods. But if you depend on your own conviction, you become steady. You become grounded, you become unshakable. Greatness has never been achieved by people who constantly waited for a round of applause. It has always been achieved by those who listened to their inner voice and chose to follow it, even when the world laughed at them, even when the world doubted them. Refusing to seek approval does not mean arrogance. It means self-belief. It means understanding that your dreams are valid even if no one else sees them. It means standing firm in your truth and walking boldly in your path. And the beauty of refusing to seek approval is that it frees you to live authentically. It frees you to experiment, to fail, to grow without the weight of judgment on your shoulders. It allows you to shine with a light that is entirely yours, and that light becomes magnetic. It draws people, not because you begged for their attention, but because you radiated confidence from within, and that is the real power. People respect those who do not bend for acceptance. People are drawn to those who carry themselves with conviction. And once you stop asking, may I, and start declaring, I will, you transform into a force that cannot be ignored. So stop waiting for permission to be extraordinary. Stop waiting for likes, applause, or recognition. You already hold the stamp of approval you need, and when you walk with that energy, you become unstoppable, because the world cannot deny a soul that refuses to be silenced. Life is not designed to be smooth, it is built with storms, trials, and challenges that will test every ounce of strength within you. And in those moments when everything feels like it is falling apart, resilience becomes your greatest weapon, because resilience is not about never being knocked down. Resilience is about how quickly you rise when you do. Resilience is the quiet strength that keeps you moving forward when the world expects you to stay broken. It is the voice inside that whispers keep going when everything outside screams give up. And once you cultivate resilience, you become unstoppable, because nothing can truly defeat you. Every obstacle transforms into a stepping stone. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every rejection becomes redirection. Resilience makes you unbreakable, not because you do not face hardships, but because you refuse to stay down no matter how hard you fought. When you decide to turn resilience into your superpower, you begin to understand that struggles are not punishments, they are opportunities to evolve. Resilience sharpens your character, it strengthens your will, and it shows you just how powerful you truly are. People often underestimate the power of resilient spirit, but history is proof that those who refuse to quit eventually win every single time. The resilient ones are the dreamers who keep building even after their dreams collapse. They are the fighters who keep showing up even after losing battles. They are the believers who keep faith even when the night feels endless, and that is what makes resilience so extraordinary. It is the bridge between failure and success. It is the energy that transforms pain into growth and wounds into wisdom. Resilience is what separates those who only survive from those who rise and thrive. And the most empowering part about resilience is that it cannot be taken from you no matter what life throws at you. Resilience is a choice. It is the decision to not let circumstances define you, but to let them refine you. It is the refusal to give in to despair, the refusal to surrender your power. Resilience teaches you to adapt, to bend without breaking, to take the weight of struggle and still find the strength to stand tall. And once you make resilience your superpower, you realize that you are stronger than any challenge, fiercer than any setback, and braver than any fear, because resilience does not just make you survive, it makes you extraordinary. It transforms you into a person the world cannot push aside. And in that transformation, you discover the unstoppable force you were always meant to be. Resilience is the crown you wear when life tries to humble you, and it is the shield you carry when life tries to break you. And when you live with resilience as your foundation, you are truly unstoppable. The most powerful thing you can ever do for yourself is to own your uniqueness, because in a world that constantly tries to make you a copy, owning who you are becomes your greatest rebellion. Every person has something that makes them different, something that sets them apart, but too often we hide those qualities in fear of judgment, in fear of standing out, when in reality it is exactly those differences that carry our strength. When you choose to own your uniqueness, you are telling the world, I am enough exactly as I am. You are no longer seeking to blend in, you are daring to stand out. You are no longer asking, what will they think? You are declaring, this is who I am, and that declaration is magnetic. It is the energy that makes people notice you, remember you, and respect you. Owning your uniqueness means embracing the flaws as much as the strengths, because perfection does not inspire people. Authenticity does. When you decide to live authentically and unapologetically, you stop competing with others, because you realize there is no competition when you are in your own lane. Your uniqueness is your power, because nobody else can replicate it, nobody else can replace it, and nobody else can diminish it. People may try to compare you to others, but comparison loses its weight. When you fully step into your individuality, you begin to see that being different is not a weakness. It is a gift, because sameness is forgettable, but uniqueness is unforgettable. And the world remembers those who dare to be themselves, not those who conform to the mold. Every leader, every trailblazer, every icon is remembered not because they were like everyone else, but because they were unlike anyone else. And that is the truth of being unstoppable. It is not about fitting in, it is about standing tall. Your difference, owning your uniqueness, is also about courage, because it takes bravery to walk into rooms where you do not blend in and still hold your head high. It takes strength to wear your truth proudly when others try to silence it, and it takes vision to see that your individuality is not limitation, but a superpower. The moment you embrace all of you, the messy parts, the brilliant parts, the parts others may not understand, you become unstoppable, because authenticity cannot be defeated. People can copy style, they can copy success, but they cannot copy soul, they cannot copy essence. They cannot copy the light that comes from someone who knows who they are. So own your uniqueness, wear it like armor, let it shine like fire, because when you are bold enough to live as yourself without apology, you are not just unstoppable, you are unforgettable, and the world has no choice but to recognize your light